Potholes on Toronto streets may cost you big bucks in car damage.
And President Obama is making new ties in Italy. Humber News starts now.
Hello, it's Thursday, March 27th. Welcome to Humber News, coming to you from the Broadcast Center here at the North Campus. I'm Corey Weir. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Julia Grabowska. Ahead on our show, we will have all your news, sports, and entertainment highlights, as well as your 5-day weather forecast. But first, Corey has our top story.
There's so many deep potholes on Toronto's roads after this harsh winter. You might be wondering if your car will survive or how much it may cost you to fix it. Humber reporter Darren O'Malley has been investigating.
You don't have to look far to find them. Potholes, potholes, and more potholes. This week, the Canadian Automobile Association launched its annual Worst Roads campaign. Over the course of the next 4 weeks, Ontarians can vote online for what they think are the roads in most need of repair.
You got to, try to be careful with them, slow down, and so it's a little bit frustrating. I'd like to see a little bit more done about it, making sure that, they're getting repaired. I know it's been a long, hard winter, and it's tough to kind of keep on top of it.
Oh, they are better, yes. They fix, and I'm watching them because I had to spend $1,500 before fixing my car.
It costs the city of Toronto roughly $6 million to repair potholes each year. And as for how much it costs drivers...
Depends on the damage, but I mean, you're looking at some rims can be $300-$400 plus a tire, another $100-$200. I mean, if you do any other suspension damage than that, I mean, you can be over $1,000 quite easily.
Drivers who have suffered vehicle damage due to the potholes can file a claim with their insurance company or dish out the cash themselves. But paying for the damage can be costly, of course. There are a few things that you can do to ensure proper car care, though.
The best way to do it is try to avoid them. But keep the tire pressures up, keep the car in good shape. Try not to brake while you're going over a pothole. It's best just to run over it. That's about it. The best thing you can try to do is stay away from them.
In Humber College's neighborhood, Finch Avenue West ranked 3rd on the list of Ontario's worst roads last year. Topping the list was Dufferin Street, which has earned 7 nominations since the campaign began in 2003. Drivers have until April 25th to vote. Darren O'Malley, Humber News.
Thanks, Darren. Police are investigating a criminal charge of breach of trust against the former Chief of Staff for former Ontario Premier Dalton McGuinty. The investigation was sparked by a controversy over deleted emails about the cancelled gas plant. Police say David Livingston allowed a tech expert to access the computers in the Premier's office. The police say they suspect the expert deleted the information. A search warrant was approved, allowing police to collect 24 computer hard drives believed to have evidence of Livingston's breach of trust. However, none of the allegations have been proven in court.
Mayor Rob Ford headed to the stage last night to face off against Olivia Chow, John Tory, David Soknacki, and Karen Stintz in the first televised mayoral debate for the October election. The candidates did not mention the crack cocaine scandal surrounding Ford, but Ford did address the situation, saying people know his track record and they can go to sleep at night knowing their tax dollars are being watched. Tory's failed run for premier, Soknacki's role as a former Toronto budget chief, Chow's position on Labour, and Stintz's position on the Scarborough subway expansion were also mentioned in the debate.
Firefighters are still on the scene of a fire that broke out at a mattress factory on Fairbank Avenue this morning. What started off as 2-alarm turned into a 6-alarm blaze. More than 100 firefighters are now battling the blaze from the outside of the building for fear that it may collapse. There was no one in the building when the fire broke out at 9 a.m. Police have closed Dufferin Street between Wingold and Castlefield Avenue.
Toronto woman has been arrested and faces multiple child pornography charges. 22-year-old Jennifer Young allegedly lured boys online by using male personas to convince them to send her explicit photos. Police say Young either sold the photos or gave them away. She's now facing 3 counts of luring a child, as well as accounts of accessing, making, distributing, and possessing child pornography. And police think there may be more victims.
Students at Humber College were treated to a knockout Q&A session today. Humber reporter Hugh Smith has more.
One of the most well-known UFC fighters dropped by Humber College today. Josh Koscheck came to both the Lakeshore and North campuses for a Q&A session. Koscheck has been in the UFC since 2005. He has a record of 17 wins and 8 losses, 5 of those wins by knockout. But he's most well known for his title fight against the legendary George St. Pierre. Brian D'Souza, a yoga instructor at Humber, has written a book about MMA. He said events like this will boost the popularity of the sport in Toronto.
Absolutely, it's a good plan for the UFC, and they want the younger demographic, like college kids. So this is an ideal event to get you guys hooked on their pay-per-views.
Koscheck had a lot of advice for Humber students, including the motivation it takes to achieve success in any field.
If you're going to school here and you're in college, then you're striving to be better, and I think that's important.
While fans only see fighters in the octagon, Koscheck said it's the training aspect of the sport that takes the biggest toll.
The fans get to see, oh yay, it's fight day, we get to see a fight. They don't get to see the miserable weeks and months that lead up to that.
Koscheck has 2 fights remaining on his UFC contract, which he says he plans to fight out. As for what comes next, he talked of his love of real estate and the fact that he never wants to have another boss. Hugh Smith, Humber News.
Thanks, Hugh. When we come back, we'll have more news from across the country and around the world. Therese Yastrzewski will have the sports news, and we'll have your weather forecast with Alyssa Capistrano.
It's another cold one out here today, but it is more bearable and more milder than it was yesterday. I'll have your full 5-day weather forecast after the break.